bum, 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 bum. What's going on, everybody? Hey, so tonight is going to be a really, really cool night. I'm pumped because I'm just trying to play some background music because this guy that we're bringing in tonight is off the charts. This guy's got, man, he has got a story that the more I got to know him, the more that it came out. I'm just like, holy cow, like, oh my gosh. And like his story is just like it blows me away the more I get to know him, and I'm just really pumped just to jump into this, man, like, with you, and just to bring him on and just to share his story and not waste any more time because if people are not here in the group, I want you to go ahead and invite people that are in the group right now, let them know what's going on, and I want you guys to know that with Josh, him coming in, this guy is, I would say, one of the coolest and most genuine dudes that I've met in a very long time. And I say that because he's not only accomplished a lot, he's done some pretty fantastic things when it comes down to just helping me get on iHeartRadio. I mean, that was really awesome, and I mean, so generous of him to do that. And it was just the first time. I mean, heck, I'm even on Spotify because of this guy. Like, how cool is that? This dude is a beast. And okay, so let me go ahead and try and bring you on in. And let's go ahead. Okay, so for some reason it is Here we go. Bingo. All right, go ahead. Make sure you're on your phone. Go ahead and tilt it sideways. Let's see if we can get this one first round, man. First time around.
What's up, man?
There we go.
How's it going?
Good, man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you great. Can you hear me?
Yeah, good, man. I'm just making sure my Bluetooth sometimes will go on and off. It's really weird.
All good, dude. All good.
Let me make sure that it's off because I don't want it jumping on and having a hiccup because that would just be the worst. All right, we're good. Hey, Chris and Jeff J. Hunter's in here, man. Woo! Love those guys.
What's up, Christopher?
But,
Jeff Hunter? Wow.
Yeah.
Good-looking group.
Man, you know, it's like I was just telling them before you jumped on, man, is that just about shared about how we connected, man. It was I forgot even how we got connected initially, and how I don't know, we just been friends, man. That's all we know. We've been friends.
I have no idea how we connected either. Now that I think about it,
I forgot. I don't know, but who cares, man?
Was it Christopher Worth?
Probably that or David Giorgio, man. I don't know. It's one of the two.
I know. I love Jeff. I love Christopher. I'm a big fan of you. So this is cool, man. This is great.
Man, you know, I was telling them about how, like, the more I've gotten to know you, the more I've gotten to know about your story. And, you know, like, when you came out and shared about it, Chris said, I'll take credit. Yes, Chris, you get the gold star. But so, yeah, just about how you've come out about having HIV and how you've overcome these kind of things and how it's been, like, it really just, it helps humble me because I want you to share with just really get to the core of it, not just business but also by just with your personal life. How has forgiveness been able to, like, forgiving yourself and forgiving other people, like, how have they parlayed together going through this and just being able to, and how's it benefited people around you, man?
Well, you know, for the longest time, man, I was just angry, man. I spent a life hiding because I thought my truth wasn't good enough. I thought that no one would like me. And I mean, for the longest time, like, I was constantly hiding and trying to be something that I really wasn't true to my values or true to who I really was, true to what God created me to be. And I was trying to be everything but me because it was so ugly, or at least what I thought was so ugly. And the miracle in that, so I gave my life to Christ 3.5 years ago in a jail cell, my 6th time in jail. I was put in isolation because of I told them, I thought it was going to do me favors. This is the truth. I actually thought it was going to do me a favor if I told them that I was sick. And instead they put me in isolation, which, if you've ever met me, I know Jeff has met me, like, I like people. I like to be around people. I like the energy. I like to talk. Like, even when I was just a piece of crap, like, I still like being around people, you know, and I like talking to people.
It drives you being insane, just being by yourself, man. Just like, oh my.
So honestly, imagine being put in a cell that's like this big, and then I'm next to another cell that big. We can't see each other, but I can hear the crazy people screaming, ah, 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 guard, ah, ah, like nonstop. And I'm going, F this, screw this. And I'm 24 hours into this, and I'm like, all right, God, now I'm mad. I'm like, why won't you change me?
What did I do to myself?
Why? No, I'm yelling. I'm blaming God because He won't change me. And I'm thinking, why? Why won't you change me? Why can't you fix me like everybody else? Why can you change them but not me? Right. And then all of a sudden, I swear on my faith, you have to forgive your father. And not only did I hear it, I felt it like shoot through my body like lightning. Yeah. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to forgive him for after what he did to my sisters, what he did to me, what he did to my brother, and what he did to my mom? How am I supposed to forgive that? Because it happened to him too. And then all of a sudden, for the very first time, I had compassion. How do I get those comments off the screen? There we go. I had compassion. And then I was able to go, oh my God, I'm everything my father was. And that is when I was able to forgive. And then of course I went back to reading the Bible and just trying to have an understanding. And I was like reading Proverbs and all. And I'm like, I've been doing that wrong. And then that's when I made the decision that changed my life. But the point was, I also thought I was going to be in jail for 5 years. Yeah. And I said, all right, God, you know what? I've ran from my purpose. I've ran from what you called me to do. Since I've known what you've called me to do since I was 7 years old. I got my very first vision about what I was supposed to do when I was 7. It was after being molested for the first time by 2 men. And that vision came to me again, and I'm like, you know what? I'll do it behind bars, and then when I get out, I'll start a prison ministry, but I'll start it here. I'll start serving you here. I'll start living my purpose here. And 4 days later, I'm supposed to go see the judge for my sentencing, and I didn't see the judge. And I got out of jail. And then I'm like, all of a sudden, jail seemed like the safe place to be. So, I mean, honestly, because like now I'm out in the world and like, well, now I really have to step up. Right. Like, and then that was when I said, you know what? I'm no longer going by Josh. I'm going to be Joshua. And I'm going to introduce myself as Joshua because I'm going to do that as a reminder of who I was called to be, the leader I was called to be, the powerful, authentic, and loving leader that I was called to be. And that's when I made that decision, and scared me to death. There was still a lot of work to be done, but the difference was this time around, because I tried to change a lot, Jeremy. I tried to change a lot and couldn't do it. But I fell in love with the work. I fell in love with the process of trying to make myself better every day. I fell in love with the fact that getting up and writing and reading and praying, that was actually something I enjoyed doing because I knew it made me better. I know it revealed to me the areas of my life that I got to work on. And that was the most powerful thing in the world that transformed me. And forgiveness is something that, you know, still I get to practice, you know, it's not always easy, but it's so powerful. And I've realized that it's really more for me than it is the person I'm forgiving. Man, so, that's the short version of the story.
Man, you know, it's so crazy just to hear about your story and just how many different just to hear about the different correlations and just how for me, a lot of people talk about they they don't have an impact because they don't have a drastic story like yours or mine or someone else's. I'm just like, trust me, you don't want that story. Like, thank goodness, thank God you don't have that story. You know, and it's just like, just be glad you didn't have to go through that hell. Okay, please be glad. Okay, and it's just like there are things that people have gone through, man, and it's just like for me, I was never sexually abused, and I can't even imagine what that's like. You know, like I've survived murder. I've gone through contemplated suicide. I've gone through a lot of different of my own things, but everyone has, you know, it's like everyone talks about how, you know, they don't want to have, they don't care about if it's a $2,500 check or a $1 million check. You know, every dollar still cash is the same, right? And it's like so many people undervalue their experiences because someone else went through something crazy. And it's just like, no. And it's just being, I'm grateful for your victory, but I'm also grateful for the people who have not had to go through that. Because, you know, and that's something that I just is kind of like on my heart to kind of, I want you to share from your heart, like those people who feel like they don't have a story because it's not as drastic. What would you say to those kind of people that are just kind of that have in the back of their mind?
Well, first and foremost, my story scares the crap out of a lot of people. I scare a lot of people away from me. I lose a lot of business because I made the decision that I was going to go all in on being authentically me all the time. And
Right.
so my story doesn't necessarily win me a lot of friends. But the thing for me that keeps me doing it is that the people that are in my life, I know are in my life because they want to be there, and that's good enough. I share my story in such a way that for the people that have lesser stories, so they're like, well, if he'll talk about that, then what the hell am I doing? I got a phone call. Like, what are you doing? Like, if I'm willing to share my story, then the people that feel like they have less, then like, yeah, they should share theirs too. And here's the deal. Everyone has a message that needs to be heard by somebody. Like every day on my show, I encourage everyone to share their truth, to live in their truth, no matter what it is. Because some people may not be able to really hear or feel what I'm saying, but yet say it's a lesser story again, and it's not lesser because it's all relative. Look, the fact is this.
Yeah, it's not as tragic.
God made me really tough, like, and resilient and stubborn and hard-headed and thick-skinned.
Same.
Not everybody's made that way. Not everyone's made that way. So their story, like your message, like everyone listening right now, your story needs to be heard by somebody. Whether it's one person or a billion, the fact is this. It's going to help somebody. It's going to resonate somebody. Like, for instance, business coaches. There's business coaches that are on multiple levels. There's billion-dollar business coaches. Well, guess what? Some people are not going to relate to that. But say you're somebody that's just on a journey and you're just starting. Guess what? Your story needs to be heard too, because your ups and downs may offer hope to somebody. Like that's the point. Is that it doesn't matter what it is. We all have something it has to be said. We all have something that needs to be said and needs to be heard by someone, and you'll know who it is.
You know, there's I when growing up, I would always watch movies. Like movies and video games are my reality growing up. You know, and that's where it's like, you know, in these movies, we always see that moment. It's like that pivotal moment in the movie where like the time stands still and the main character, like his heartbeat, you can hear it go boom, boom, you know, and you can hear it's like it's an all or nothing moment, and he has to make a decision whether it's going to be like a sacrifice. He's like, if he goes all in, like he's done if it doesn't work out, and if he doesn't go all in, everyone else is going to die or something like that, you know. So it's a do or die moment. And it's so crazy that a lot of people yearn for that, but when we can realize that I think that's our superhero feeling, you know. Like we grow up, we want to be the Hulk, or we want to be a Power Ranger, a firefighter, whatever the case is. And it's like so many times we I think that David Yardy's on here. And actually, this is something we talked about when he was on here. Is that a lot of times we try to imitate our mentors because they impacted our lives, and we completely override or just underrate our purpose and the things that we're hungry for. And those things that are like sacred to us aren't going to be sacred to other people.
Right.
And and that's something that coming out from where. And I said all that to ask you this is that when coming out of and transitioning, because there's those times where you rebuild and people start watching you to see if you actually made progress. You know what I mean? Like when you're coming, it's like everyone's just like, okay, we'll see. Yeah, we all go through that phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay, fine, just watch. And you go through like months of that sometimes. Maybe, I mean, for me, it was a year. And I'm just like, ugh. And it was almost like I was on like probation again. I'm just like, this sucks. And but it was like, when transitioning out of that, how many times in the day did you have to remind yourself of who you are and how you saw yourself, that how it's important that you I think we got froze up. Oh no.
I can see you still.
Okay, cool. You froze up over there. But okay, anyways, but when you were transitioning back into just, I guess, civilian life, what was that? How many times a day did you have to remind yourself of who you were, like your identity?
Dude, I still have calendar reminders on my phone that pop up, whether it's a prayer, whether it's an affirmation. I remind myself throughout the day, all day, who I am.
Yeah.
And who I was created to be. I do that because I never want to get it twisted. I never want the enemy to tell me I lie to me anymore. Yeah. So living in truth and being reminded of my truth is something that I surround myself with people that remind me of that. The community that I have is very powerful. But also I remind myself of that too, because we are all meant for something very special, all of us. And it's our job to surround ourselves we were not ever meant to be in isolation. We were meant to be in community with each other. And social media is allowed for that. It's also there's some bad stuff about it, but there's really good things about it. But real life community, just having that support to lift each other up, to remove ego, to remove doubt, just to be there and to love each other, and being willing to be vulnerable, especially for men. Men, if a man is not willing to be vulnerable, he's not being his true strength. Because vulnerability is a very real thing, and it matters, and people need to see that, because sometimes pushing through is not what is right. Sometimes honoring yourself enough to go, I'm not my best today. I need to maybe step off the gas pedal just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, I'm not saying anything bad about the rise and grind mentality is cute and all. But if you're not taking care of your health, you're not taking care of your home, you're not taking care of the people in your life, if you're not taking time to have time with your family and the people that love you and support you, if you're not doing that, you can take your rise and grind and shove it up your butt, because honestly, you're going to crash. You're going to crash because you can't grind all the time. You can't.
I say that all the time. Oh my gosh. It's like we talk about the hustle. We talk about the go nonstop, but we never talked about the oil in the engine. Like, duh. Like you have to have your rest, man. And it's just, gosh, I'm so glad to hear you say that.
If you're neglecting the people in your life, the most important people in your life, if you're neglecting them, then you're having to put energy towards a divorce, or you're putting an energy towards a nagging partner that's saying, why aren't you paying attention to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a negative, that's a bad energy that's taking away from your grind. But you got to take time for the people that love you. You got to take time for relaxing and recreation. and feeding your mind, body, and spirit. That's why they call it quiet time.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, I mean, it's good for you. It just, so I mean, look, I'm all for hard work. I'm all for it. I mean, as soon as we get off of this, I'm back to work. It's 6 o'clock, you know, and I've been up since 5 a.m. You know, but guess what? I also took time to take a 10-minute nap. I took time to spend time with my mom and stepdad who came into town from Oklahoma. And guess what? I'm better for it. You know,
awesome.
We've got to take time for like to relax and to chill and to love, then grind.
Yeah.
When you work your butt off. You know,
yeah.
Stay off Facebook.
No kidding.
Even though that's where a lot of us make our money.
Right. Well, man, if anybody has any questions, just drop them in the comments. If we catch them before we wrap up here, Josh is going to reply back to them. If he doesn't, he'll catch them afterwards. But guys, I just can't thank you enough for tuning in. And Joshua, I want you to tell me one thing that if people don't remember anything from this live stream, like if they completely just walk away and have a complete brain fart, and they don't remember anything except one thing about forgiveness and where you've come from, what would be that one thing that they can walk away with and apply into their life right now?
So I think the only way to really experience joy in this world is to live in your complete truth. Like if you have a secret that you're withholding, and you may think it's stuff so far down there no one would know. The truth is that little thing may be the very thing that's keeping you from living your highest self. Like the truth, when they say the truth will set you free, it's often mocked, but what that really means is it frees your spirit to fuel you for everything that you were created to be.
That's so good. It's like a breath of fresh air.
But it's the truth.
It is.
I know. Look, man, listen, here's the deal. Straight up. So I was 99.9% authentic and true in everything I was saying on my show, Morning Gratitude. And I kept saying, I will come out and talk about having HIV when it's time, and I will talk about being, a former abuser. When it's time. That was keeping me from really experiencing and understanding joy. It was keeping me from living my higher self. It was keeping me from being able to receive love in ways that I still am having a hard time comprehending, that I am loved by a lot of people, and it's with revealing the monster I used to be. Not in a way of pushing people away, but in an authentic truth. It's for the first time in my life, Jeremy, I was able to experience love fully. And now I'm able to love other people in ways I didn't even know were possible. And it was because I lived in truth and living in it. Now, guess what? I can now go into the world 100% authentically me, and no one can hold anything over my head. I don't have to worry about anything coming out about me, because guess what? I've already said it.
Exactly.
So now I just get to be me, relentlessly me. Yeah. And I've been blessed because of it.
Yeah.
That's my word.
Man, and that's awesome. Man, I love that. And it's very simple, but so complex at the same time for so many people. And, it's like, yeah, just do it. Okay. Yeah, it's a lot easier said than done. And that's why and everyone who catches this, I want you to know that that's going to take time to truly digest the actual depth of it. Because when you understand the vastness of it, like the true depth of that, you're not going to want to hide anything else ever again. Well, you're never, that becomes poison.
It hurts, and you feel it too.
Yeah, and it actually makes your stomach sick sometimes, physically sick. And I mean, it's an incredible feeling to live just completely at peace, and that's what it is. And so, man, it's incredible. That's just awesome. And I can't thank you enough for coming on here and carving out time. And I know you have so much going on. And man, I'm gonna actually tag your show on here so that way people can go and get it plugged in with you.
Yeah,
How
for sure.
can everyone get involved with you when it comes to your shows and everything everything you've got going on?
Oh,
You
I'm
have a lot
easy,
going
man.
on.
They can just message me.
Bam.
Yeah, I mean, I like talking to people, man. I'm kind of all in on doing the show, and it's being developed into a TV show now. But
Yeah.
I love having real relationships. I like David, who's watching right now. Good dude. Love what he's doing out in the world. Jeff, who was on here earlier. I mean, and Christopher Worth. They're all just amazing people doing great things. I love staying connected with them. But listen, man. I would love if you can send me the MP4 of this. I'll put this on my website and everything else, and share your stuff around too. Because I mean, you're doing good work, my man. You're doing great work.
I appreciate it. Oh, I'll tell you what. I haven't told anybody else. This is actually the first time I've actually mentioned this on social media. Some doors have opened for the schools and the prison guards for us to go speak into their lives here in Tennessee. So some of those things are kind of happening already, and so it's been so just keep that in prayer because that's going to be really exciting to see what happens. And so,
absolutely.
But I appreciate you again coming on, man, and carving out the time and just pouring your heart out as always. And man, it's always good connecting. We got to jump on the phone sometime and get caught up because we have a lot to get caught up on.
Yeah, absolutely. Did this share on my wall?
I don't believe so, but we can.
I'll share it.
But that's where
you do good work, bro.
Thanks, man. I want to download the MP4 for you, so that way you can reload it up on your page and do whatever, everything else that you want.
Awesome, dude.
So, all right, man. I'll
God
see you
bless,
later.
man. See ya.
See ya.